India has shaped its global and regional disparity through Panchsheel policy, non-alignment movement, South Asian Association for Regional Cooperation, and most recently the Neighborhood First policy. India has always fostered for a peaceful and cooperative policy towards South Asian Association countries. However, when it comes to the Katchatheevu Island and Palk Strait related issues, right, the issue has been prolonging for a long time, and this is the right time to solve those pending issues. Hello everyone, my name is Jahidul. I am a faculty member at Lukmaan IAS, and today we are going to discuss about a very important article based on Katchatheevu Island and Palk Strait. So let us quickly move to that article. Basically, this particular article we are going to understand from the perspective of an advocate, right, from Sri Lanka. So this article is going to showcase your view, showcase the viewpoint of a Sri Lankan author. All right. So it is more towards what they think about this particular issue. All right. So the topic is the way forward on Katchatheevu and Palk Strait disputes. Okay. So how do we resolve such international disputes? I mean, like dispute between two countries like India and Sri Lanka. So related to that, as we discussed that like India has historically shaped regional and global diplomacy through the Panchsheel principles, the non-alignment movement, and South Asian Association for Regional Cooperation, and most recently we have also focused on neighborhood first policy. Means like we have focused on resolving our disputes with our neighbors in a peaceful manner. All right. So now what we are going to discuss about is livelihood and conservation at odds. Now let us discuss about what is this. Basically, when we talk about Sri Lankan waters or Indian waters, right, in the south portion of India. So the people in the south portion of India, the Tamil people, Tamil Nadu people, basically many of them are dependent on fisheries, right. So they derive their livelihood from the resources that they take from the fisheries, from the ocean, from the waters, right. But the thing is like, many people are also doing it as a commercial activity. Some people are doing for their basic sustenance using traditional methods of fisheries, but there are some other people who are doing it at commercial level, right. So they are using, let's say, bottom trawlers. So bottom trawlers, I mean, not only help these people to basically extract the maximum amount of fishing, but it also causes ecological damage because bottom portion of the ocean, right, they get damaged. I mean, coral reefs are destroyed, a lot of ecological damage happens. So in this article, the author has talked about that we should make a distinction between sustenance of livelihoods for artisans, for people who are doing fishery activities, and those people who are doing it using bottom trawlers for commercial purposes. So after making distinction, so the bottom trawlers must be banned and these people must be allowed so that conservation of the marine resources can happen, and at the same time livelihoods of these fishermen can be protected. All right. And she has also appealed for a peaceful negotiation and peaceful resolution of a dispute arising out of it. So in this article, she has laid down some basically, let's say, like international laws and international conventions and their articles to mention about how do we resolve the bottom trawler issue. So UNCLOS stands for United Nations Convention on the Law of the Sea. So UNCLOS lays stress not only on equitable use of marine resources but also their conservation. So United Nations Convention on the Law of the Sea, it talks about that we need to use equitably. I mean, the resources, marine resources should be derived equitably so that everyone has some share in it. But at the same time, we need to focus on conservation of the marine resources also. Similarly, the Food and Agriculture Organization's Code of Conduct for Responsible Fisheries 1995, it deems destructive practices such as bottom trawling to be unacceptable. Okay, so Food and Agriculture Organization has a code. This is known as Code of Conduct for Responsible Fisheries. So they say that bottom trawling is unacceptable. Apart from this, the Sri Lanka has banned bottom trawling in 2017. But hundreds of Indian trawlers still continue the practice, damaging coral beds, shrimp habitats and depleting fish stocks. Okay. So this bottom trawling not only extracts huge amount of fishery resources, but at the same time it damages the, let's say, like ecological sanctity of the ocean resources. All right. Now let us discuss about clearing the misconception. Let us understand what is the misconception. Basically, I mean, like, in the media you might have heard about a lot of news that Katchatheevu Island belongs to Sri Lanka, or Katchatheevu Island belongs to India, or maybe like, Indian people go to Katchatheevu Island to do some, I mean, like, religious practices over there. So a lot of things are there. Basically, in this article, the Sri Lankan advocate, she has mentioned about what is the legal standing on this particular issue. So there is an agreement, there is a treaty between India and Sri Lanka, and this is known as the 1974 India-Sri Lanka Maritime Boundary Treaty. Okay, this is the treaty that Indian government and Sri Lankan government have signed. Okay, this particular treaty placed the Katchatheevu Island in the Sri Lankan waters. Means according to this treaty, this islet belongs to Sri Lanka. Okay, this is the version of the advocate from Sri Lanka. All right. This treaty is legally binding. Under international law, boundary treaties are sacrosanct, means pacta sunt servanda, means like, boundary treaties between two countries, if treaties are signed, so they are considered sacrosanct under international law. And when we talk about the Palk Strait, right, Palk Strait and the adjacent waters, they were recognized as historic waters under Indian and Sri Lankan law. Okay. So when something is referred to as historic waters, these areas, like, here sovereign rights override, right, even stronger. They are even stronger than normal territorial sea rights. All right, sovereign rights are stronger as compared to normal territorial sea rights, like, freedom of passage, etc. Now here let us understand towards good neighborhood policy. Now what she basically, like, what she requests or what she appeals is that both the countries must resolve this particular issue amicably, right? They should sit, they should discuss, right, different issues, and she has made an appeal that, like, ecological sanctity must be protected in the waters, right, where Indian water and Sri Lankan water meet, right? Ecological sanctity must be protected, and at the same time the livelihood needs of fishermen, right, must be protected, but commercial bottom trawling must be prohibited. This is her stand on this particular issue. So she says India and Sri Lanka share not only maritime boundaries but also share centuries of cultural, religious and kinship ties. Okay, we have centuries of cultural ties, kinship ties, religious ties with Sri Lankan people. The fisheries issue requires fairness to both communities, prioritizing artisanal livelihoods and ecological sustainability. All right. So in long arc of diplomacy, smaller disputes must not overshadow the larger vision. Larger vision is maintaining peace, prosperity and mutual respect in South Asia for, let's say, each other's boundary, boundary requirements and all. So it should be mutually settled, right? They should sit together. It should be mutually settled, and livelihood needs of Indian fishermen as well as Sri Lankan fishermen must be protected, right? Ecological sanctity must be protected so that, like, it is not damaged further, and at the same time if there are any legal disputes, that must be settled by amicable means, right, peaceful means. That's all from my side for the day. Let us know what do you think on this particular topic and write it on the comment section, and thank you so much everyone for watching this video. I hope you have a good day ahead. Thank you.